guys, Miss Charlie here with another collection video. Today I'm going to do foundation and concealers. I finally got through all of my highlighters, so I appreciate your patience with that. It was a lot. But we're going to go through my foundations and my concealers. Okay, so I'm just going to start with this Covergirl Clean Whipped Cream foundation. This they don't make anymore. My favorite foundation. It actually matches my skin tone. I don't have to mix it with anything. And they discontinued this, and I did find a bunch of them at Big Lots, so I did buy a bunch. And I thought I used them all up, but when we moved last year, there was still one that hadn't been opened, and it didn't go off. It didn't expire or anything like that. It still smells the same. It still performs the same, and I've almost used it up. It is a whipped texture. It has a particular smell that CoverGirl foundations have, which is pleasant. So it still has the smell, and this is in tawny. You can still get it on Amazon. I might get a backup of this, but I've gone through at least 5 or 6 of these. So I was glad to find this in my collection when we moved last year. But this is the CoverGirl Clean Whipped Cream Foundation. This cushion foundation from Wet n Wild, I found this at the dollar store. This one is also in tawny. It is a bit red for me. I did have one, and the packaging is not very good. It just fell apart. Plus, I don't know if maybe at the time I used it, it just didn't work with my skin or my chemistry. But I still have one, so I'm gonna try it again. But this is just a cushion. I'll take it out so you can see what it looks like. And you open it up here. It's got the little poof inside. And then you open this up here. And you see this one is still fresh. I haven't used it yet. But I will see if maybe this one, if it'll work, because I can mix it. It is a little red, so I do have to mix it with something else. But this is the one from Wet n Wild. This is the Nars Sheer Glow. It does not come with a pump. What I do is if I get a foundation that doesn't have a pump on it, and I use up a foundation that has a pump, I'll clean it out and then I'll cut it so it fits. So it doesn't screw on, but it fits it just fine so that I can get everything out of here so I'm not pouring it out. So that's a good tip. So if you have a foundation that has a pump, you use it up, keep the pump, clean it out, and cut it if you have a foundation that doesn't have a pump. So that helps. It's not good for travel because you're not going to be able to do that with it unless you get a pump that, you know, actually fits. But this isn't traveling anywhere, so it's sitting in a container. But I have almost used this one up. There's just a tiny bit left. This one is in Caracas. And I've used this in many project pans. It's very, very little in there. So I'm gonna turn it upside down, let whatever's gonna fall out, and then I'll use the rest of it. But I really love this foundation from Nars. This one is the CoverGirl Full Spectrum Foundation, the Matte Ambition. This was a line that they had basically for people of color. And I found this at my local Myers. I hadn't seen it anywhere else. And they were getting rid of the section. So I bought another one. I was so glad because I'm almost done with this one. It's a beautiful foundation. It's very light, has nice medium coverage, has a pump. I've had this for probably a year and a half. And it's been in a couple project pans. See the line there? So I'm almost used it up, and I was glad to get another one. And I got this for like $2 and something because they were clearing it out. And I also got the concealer too because I had never tried the concealer. But I hope they bring this back because the whole section was just for people of color and they got rid of it. So there's that. I don't know the meaning behind it, but I don't understand why they got rid of it. I think you can still get this online. But this one is in Tan Golden, and this is the CoverGirl Full Spectrum Matte Ambition Foundation. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation. I found this at the Dollar Tree. They're the same color, they're both tan. This one looks a little darker because it's almost done, but it's very light, so I have to mix it. I have this one in my project pan for the month of September, mixing it with something else, but that's where I am on this one now. But these were $1, so I decided to try them out. But again, I just mix them, and the finish is beautiful. It is very nice, it's light. It's medium coverage, which I like. I don't really like a really full coverage. I'd rather have a medium coverage. And if you need to build it up, you can. But it's very lightweight. So this one is the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation. Okay, so here are some stick foundations that one I use as a foundation. Well, two. Let me start over. Rewind. Two of these I use as contours. The other ones I use as foundation. So this one I use as a contour. This is the Flesh Stick. This one is in Tiramisu. I found this at the dollar store. It's too dark for me, but I use it as a contour and it works beautifully. If you find a foundation that is darker, use it as a contour because it'll mesh with your other foundation. You know, some contours might be patchy on some foundations, but if you use a foundation on a foundation, that might work a little bit better. But this is the Flesh Stick I use, and this is a foundation that I use as a contour. Another one that I use as a contour is this Maybelline Superstay. This is in Espresso. Got this at the dollar store too. Makes a beautiful contour. You don't need that much because it is very pigmented. Very pigmented. I don't use the little sponge on the end at all, but this one is an Espresso. And then these two I do use as foundations, and this is the Superstay in Warm Sun. Also got this one at the Dollar Tree. And you see that one is almost gone, used in a project pan. And then the Milani Conceal and Perfect. This one is in Nutmeg. And I use this one also as a foundation. I do still mix it because some of these are a little red. But they are very nice foundations. Very good coverage. Don't need much of this one because it is more fuller, and this one is more fuller. But these are my stick foundations. This is the Almei Clear Complexion Makeup with Salicylic Acid. I got this in an influencer. The color is way too red, and this says golden. This is tan golden. This is lighter than this. I don't know how it's coming off on camera, but this is way cooler, neutral than this one, which is totally red. But the coverage on this is very nice. I was surprised. I've never tried an Almei product, and they sent me this, and I still have to mix it with something else, but it's beautiful. It's lightweight. It gives nice coverage. It lasts all day. It didn't break up on me. It was a nice foundation. So try the Almei Clear Complexion Makeup with Salicylic Acid. The liquid Maybelline Superstay is a favorite. I think this is my third one. This one is in the color 330 Toffee Caramel. Yeah, I've gone through a few of these. This is a little bit more covered, so you don't need much of this. This one is also in a project pan. You see where I've used it a few times in a project pan. But that's the liquid Maybelline Superstay. This is my second infallible 24-hour fresh wear in 510. This is the color, does it even say a color, just 510? Because they put these on here and you can't read them hardly. Hazelnut, 510 Hazelnut. You see where I am on this one. This one is a more neutral. It looks warmer on camera, but it is a little bit more neutral. Has a little warm and cool in it. Nice, lightweight, all-day foundation. It can be buildable to full, but again, I like mine as medium. But this one is the infallible from L'Oreal. The Anastasia Luminous Foundation. This one, as you can see, she's almost used up. And then I got this one in a BoxyCharm drop box. This one, the color is 370 warm, but this is cool. And then this one is in 400N, and this one is warm. So I don't know how they came up with that, because this is way more red than this. This is way cooler. So I've been mixing these and they work just fine. I like this mostly in the winter because, you know, your skin is drier, so a more luminous hydrating foundation is best in the winter. So this one is going into my project pan for October, so fall and winter. Lasts all day, lightweight, beautiful coverage. I recommend. But yeah, just make sure you check those, because that warm is more cool and that cool is more warm. This is the Catrice Liquid HD Liquid Coverage. I got these back in 2020 when, you know, you couldn't go in and swatch things and whatnot. I ordered these online. This is the first one I got too light. Second one I got too red. I mixed them together. They work just fine. I also mix my foundations with this LA Girl Pro Color Mixing Pigment, because if you have something that's too red, this cools it off really lightly and it doesn't mess with the formula of the foundation or anything like that, but it'll take something like this and cool it down. So if I mix these two and add a little bit of this, I can make this my perfect color. So this comes in a few colors. I think it comes in orange and also in white. So try those out if you're having problems finding your colors, you have to mix. That does help as well. But these are beautiful. This one is in caramel beige and this one is in toffee beige. My favorite concealer, my favorite foundation next to that Covergirl, the whipped one, is this Matte Made. This is a beautiful foundation. It is transferable, non-transfer proof. It's not gonna come off. It stays on all day. It has a very good coverage. You can get this at Walmart. This is where I get mine. I mix these two together because this is cool and this is warm. This is about my shade, but it's a little bit too red, so I add this one to it. This one you have to order online because they don't have this one in store. I don't know why. They only have some colors in store, but I buy this online and mix these two together. Beautiful. If I know I'm going to be out in the heat, humidity, if I'm going to have it on all day, things like that, this is one of the ones that I will use. I have no problems with it. It looks flawless all day long. And this one is in D20 True Caramel, and this one is in T70 Caramel. And then lastly are my two higher end, other than Nars, foundations. This is my YSL All Hours foundation. I splurged on this a couple years ago. I love this foundation. It is beautiful. I reserve it for special occasions, things of that nature. It wears all day. It's lovely. I need to get a backup. As you can see, she is all the way down here. She needs a refill. And these are $56. I think the Nars one was like $30. This one is in the color Warm Mocha. And this is warm, but it's got a little bit of neutral in it. Perfect for me. And then the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Soft Radiance Foundation. This one I got in a influencer. This one is a little too light, so I do mix it again. It's heavy, it's weighted, it's got a magnetic closure. It has a light scent of a nice cologne. If you don't like scented foundations, these two would not be for you, because this one is scented and this one is scented. But they both have a beautiful finish. This one I use mostly in the summer time, because in the winter this emphasizes dry patches that I didn't even know I had. But this one is great in the spring and summer, you know, when it's more humid. This one is good all the time. But this one is $150. This one is like $56 or $60. So these are my two highest end foundations in my collection. Next, we're gonna do some concealers. This is in a drawer, an acrylic drawer that's on my desk. I got this from well, it's not really acrylic, it's more plastic, like a really hard plastic I got from QVC that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drawers in it. And this I have with mascaras and my concealer. So we're gonna go through my concealers. This one from Item Beauty is a new favorite. I got this one in a BoxyCharm as my picking it for the month, where you get to pick what you want for the month. And then I got a backup of it in my in the drop shop. I just got it in the mail, so it's still closed. This is a beautiful concealer. I love it. It's hydrating, it's smooth, you don't need much. It gives me nice coverage. This one is in shade 350, and it doesn't have a name, so this is in 350. And I do mix my my concealers with a lighter one. So if I have a lighter one and a darker one, I just mix them together. But this is a new favorite concealer from Item. This is the Complex Culture concealer I got in a BoxyCharm. This is in the shade M340. It is a little light, but again, I do mix it. It's a very light coverage on me, so I have to mix it with something with more coverage because this does basically nothing for me. But I tried it, mix it with something else, and I can make it work. So this one is from Complex Culture. One of my favorite concealers, this is the e.l.f. Camel Hydrating Concealer. I've gone through the regular one, and this is the hydrating one. This is in Deep Cinnamon. As you can see, this one is a little darker than this one. Why, I don't know. Even the regular Camel concealer, the Deep Cinnamon is dark, is a little different than the hydrating one. I don't know why. But this one is showing more red, and this one is showing more yellow. So I don't know if they changed the color to more match, because the regular one is more this color. This is the one right after they put out the regular and brought out the hydrating. This was the Deep Cinnamon, and then I just got this one at CVS because I had some discounts, and this is now the color, which is the same as the regular one. So maybe people complain and say, why are they different colors? They're just, one's hydrating and one isn't. Why are there two different colors? So maybe they changed it, but I can still use it. I still mix it, and it works for me. It covers, it's hydrating, it's very smooth. So this is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camel Concealer. Along with the Almei foundation that I got from Influencer, they also sent me their concealer, and this one is in medium deep. This one is almost my shade. It needs to be just a tad darker, but again, I mix it. It worked just fine. I was surprised that Almei actually, well, not Almei, but Influencer actually sent me things that I could actually use. I was hoping, oh no, they're gonna send me something that's way too deep or way too light. But they did good with this concealer. Again, I mix it, so this one worked just fine. I really wouldn't recommend it unless you don't have a lot of darkness, which I do under my eyes. You may have to mix it with something else, but this might be good for someone who doesn't have a lot of darkness, and you can get this at your local grocery store or your local drugstore. I've gone through a couple of these Milani's Retouch and Erase. I get them at the dollar store. This one is in Honey. I've cut it open and are still using it. This one has a pinky undertone. It looks warmer on camera, but it has more of a pinky neutral undertone to it. It works just fine. I got it at the dollar store. It did have a poof on it, but I take them off. I don't like the poofs. I take them off and then just squeeze it out, but it's gotten to the point where it won't come out, so I just cut it in half. So this one is from Milani. This one is the full spectrum concealer that went with the foundation that I bought, that they don't have this anymore. And there's no shade on it, but it's a neutral tone. It's a nice concealer. It worked just fine, but it was only $2.94. The Born This Way from Too Faced. This one is in Golden, and it is very light. I do have to mix this, but it has great coverage. Great coverage, and you get a lot. You get a lot in here. A lot in here. And I'm using this currently in my project pan for the month of September. This is the Covergirl Simply Ageless Instafix. Got this at the dollar store. It's too light, but it was $1. Mix it, use it, it's fine. It works just fine. This one doesn't have a shade name on it either. This is the Boing Concealer from Benefit. I've had this for a while, and I finally got to use it over the last year or so. And she is closed up. There she goes. And she is basically done. There's like a couple applications in there, and this is nice coverage too. It's a little dry, so you might want to mix it with the hydrating one. It's a little dry, but it does cover, and she is about done. So next project pan, she will be out of here. And this one is in number 4. Lastly, I have this Tarte. This is the ultra creamy concealer shape tape. I just used up my regular shape tape. I've gone through a couple of those. I use those in deep, and this one is in, this one is also in deep. I love this concealer. I love the creamy one even better because it's more hydrating, because I have more mature skin, so it starts to get drier underneath the eyes. But this one is nice, gives me good coverage, and this one is from Tarte. Okay, so those were all my foundations and concealers. Let me know if you've used any of these, if you have any suggestions. Thank you so much for coming by. I appreciate you all. The next makeup collections will probably be liquid shadows, because I have a lot of liquid shadows, and maybe lip pencils and eye pencils. I have a lot of those as well. So we'll get into some other things, and also pigments. I have a lot of pigments. So again, thanks for coming by. I appreciate you all. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.